Hi, I'm Erik Linask here in Miami. We're day 3 of IT Expo East 2012, and I'm talking this morning with Mike Coffey from Commetrex. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning, Erik. Doing great.
So how have the first couple days been for you?
It's been real good. We're full of leads and looking forward to the day.
Excellent. So when we last talked, one of the things that we discussed was the new next-gen Smart ATA.
Yes.
What's the latest? How's how's the market reception been? Bring us up to date.
Well, it's shipping, and we're very pleased with the demand of the product. We knew that service providers were ready for an ATA that would allow them to finally stop saying to their customers, keep your POTS lines for fax. Smart ATA is the only ATA on the market with Commetrex patent pending Smart FOIP. That has 3 major benefits for the service provider. One is it's the only ATA with V34 fax support, which is very handy today and when it's in its gateway function. It's actually an ATA and a gateway. 2, it solves the late T38 reinvite problem, which plagues a lot of outbound faxes in SIP networks. And 3, it solves the PCM clock sync problem, which is the common cause for a lot of G711 pass-through errors. That's why we say that Smart ATA, is the industry's only ATA that actually works reliably for FOIP.
So is it a FOIP-only device?
Oh, no. It's a high-function voice ATA as well. Supports advanced PBX functionality for the hosted PBX application that service providers are deploying. And I mentioned it has a PST into IP gateway function, so we anticipate it will actually cannibalize some of our add-in board sales for analog interfaces, since it's actually less expensive.
So one of the terms or some of the language that I've heard you use in the past are things like end-to-end fax over IP. What do you mean by end-to-end?
Well, if you go by our booth, we've got a big banner sign that says end-to-end FOIP.
Right.
SIP trunking is going mainstream, and service providers are having to ask themselves whether or not they're going to support FOIP. If they don't, they have to continue to say to their customers, keep your POTS lines for fax. And that means their customers are going to have to either find a service provider that does support FOIP or continue to pay that $40 a month for those POTS lines. But if they do support it, they have to master the added complexity of FOIP. Quite well known that FOIP has tighter timing requirements and data integrity requirements than does voice. But the knowledge to master those requirements is typically not available in-house to the ITSP. Commetrex has decided to fill that knowledge gap by offering consulting services to carriers and service providers to solve the problem. We're relying upon our 20 years in developing every fax technology you can imagine, 14 years in IP fax, and 6 years in solving network and carrier routing problems and interrupt problems. So that's why we say, that's what we mean by end-to-end FOIP.
So one of the other things that I know you're involved in, you're part of the SIP Forum's FOIP task force. Can you bring us up to date? Bring me up to date on some of the things that you've been doing specifically regarding some of the challenges with international calls.
Sure. Well, it's going well. Our goal for the year is it's kind of heady. Our goal is to make 2012 the year that the industry finally solved these problems in international carrier FOIP. We started a year and a half ago with what we call phase 1 testing. Phase 1 was involved 13 international carriers. They sent fax broadcasts to each other over the first half of the year. We captured mountains of data and spent the third quarter of last year analyzing it and finally released our report in the fourth quarter. It's posted on the SIP Forum and i3 Forum website. i3 Forum is our partner in this testing. But one of the main things that we learned in our phase 1 testing was that we had to do more testing. We had to drill down, as they say, and get to the core problem in the failures and categorize those failures, and then come up with a set of recommended practices that would actually get us to the promised land of international, fully deployed IP telephony. That was accomplished, or is being accomplished, we believe, by what we call pairs testing, where the testing partners pair off and do coordinated testing so we can get logs, captures from both the sending and receiving end, allowing us to more completely analyze the calls and get to the bottom of these problems. So we're excited and hope to have that big report by the end of the year.
Well, we certainly look forward to hearing the next updates and then seeing the report when that does come out.
I think everyone does, especially Commetrex.
Mike, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Erik, thank you.